Hello, everybody. Welcome to explore how AcruxKC streamline processes, enhance productivity, and drive innovation with a no-code automation. I'm going to hand things over to our illustrious speakers. We have Beth Radke, Executive Director at AcruxKC, and then we have Gary Mellows, Head of Delivery and Customer Success at FlowForma. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi, Elizabeth. So thanks, Elizabeth, and welcome, everyone. Before we get started with the question for Beth today, let me tell you a little bit about who we are. So FlowForma is an award-winning 100% no-code process automation tool. We provide a 3-in-1 solution containing forms, workflows, and document generation all out of the box. We help customers across all industries to quickly and easily digitize their business processes. I'm delighted to be joined by one of them for this case study style discussion. Good morning, Beth. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Gary. I'm doing well, thank you. Or good afternoon to you. Thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. Are you ready to get started?
I am.
Okay. So, Beth, let's kick off with you telling us a little bit about AcruxKC and your own role within the company.
Okay, great. So I'm Executive Director at AcruxKC, so I oversee all of our programs. All of our work supports health and quality of life in the Kansas City metropolitan area, which is bi-state. It straddles Missouri and Kansas. We have education, grant making, and healthcare access programs. The largest of those efforts is called AcruxKC, and that's a program that helps people with low incomes access basic health services like emergency dental care and prescriptions. And they do that through a relief network of 54 fixed locations where clients have to get vouchers. And we have 120 different vendor locations where they go to redeem those vouchers. So it's a pretty expansive network. We have a very large geographic area here. We've budgeted $1.5 million to cover the cost of care for this year alone, just to give you some perspective on our reach and our impact locally. In terms of this program, it's got so many barriers, and Gary and I have talked at length, along with his team and my team, about how social services as a whole is just burdened by a lot of paper and manual processes. And so the other big thing I think that's a barrier for low-income individuals is the fact that they usually have to go to a fixed location to apply for a program or to get whatever kind of help that they need. So that's a big deal because low-income people don't have money for transportation. They don't get time off work, et cetera. So that's one of our big barriers. And then Gary, too, is all too familiar with our, I would say, at least 12 internal pain points. So program administration is very, very difficult, getting users to register, getting agencies and vendors on board into our system. That's a lot of emails back and forth. The whole payment process is extremely challenging because it's extremely manual. Reporting is really very limited. I mostly do a lot of manipulation of spreadsheets after I export data, et cetera. And combine all that with the fact that we don't have an IT department. There really is nobody that can kind of own this work. And that's really where FlowForma has come through for us, is eliminating the need for that kind of stuff. And we'll talk more about that, I think, with Gary's questions.
That leads nicely, Beth, into the next question. So tell us a little bit more about some of the other challenges at AcruxKC, which led you to look for a process automation tool.
The big thing is really just the collection of manual processes and just the tremendous burden that creates. It's time consuming to have to fill out all those forms. And we all know that anytime somebody fills out a piece of paper, someone else is doing that data entry into a database or some kind of system. And that in turn creates opportunities for error. So there are just all sorts of things that are just wrapped up in the fact that that it is a manual paper-based or was a manual paper-based program. But again, that's not unique to social services at all. In fact, it's endemic. So what we really needed in a new system was something that would be quick and easy to set up. We don't have a lot of time to waste. We don't have a lot of technical skills on our staff. So we also needed to make sure we had plenty of support to get through this work and to make this system operational. We wanted to be self-sufficient to the extent possible because we don't have a lot of money to continually pay to another resource to set up systems and maintain them. So basically, we just really wanted to get this up and running as self-sufficiently as possible. Because we don't have the time and we don't have the money, but also because we really want to add new services to our program. We have dental, we have prescriptions, we have glasses. We may want to add CPAPs and other things. And we didn't want to always have to go back to a company to do that. And that's where a solution like FlowForma is so great, because you can replace your paper forms with electronic forms in that system. Our program is very workflow based. So this program, or this software, is a perfect fit for us, because anytime you get glasses, there are certain types of steps that a client has to go through, and certain steps that a caseworker has to use to input their information. And those steps are different from other services like dental care. So we needed something that could really accommodate a variety of workflow types. And we have since learned that we can use the workflow methodology to do so much more for the program. We'll talk a little bit about that later, but it really has been a transformative effect for our work. We also needed something with better reporting. Our old system was something that we were retrofitted into, and it never really worked well. There were data collection and quality control issues, as I say on the screen there. I had to export CSV files and manipulate those, which is a huge burden. And then the one of the bigger things from a client perspective is that our users at our fixed locations would have to call us to find out how much money a client had left to spend for medical care. I mean, imagine that in 2020. It just doesn't work. It's burdensome to so many people, and we just needed to fix all that. And then a couple other quick things. We were getting invoices by fax, which is just brutal in this day and age. I know it's HIPAA compliant, but I knew there had to be a better way. And then finally, that visit to a fixed location, as I said, is a tremendous burden for people with low incomes who don't have PTO to get off work. They don't have transportation. So we really wanted to really look to the future and figure out if there's a way that we could bring this whole process into a web-based reality for everybody. And it would just relieve a lot of burdens and make the process easier ultimately for our clients. And that's what we wanted to do, was make it better for them.
Thanks, Dan. I think before we move on to the next question, we're going to run a short poll for attendance. So if everybody, you wouldn't mind, you can do it now. You can do it during the next question if you wouldn't mind filling out the short poll, and we'll come back to it at the end of the session if that's okay. Okay, moving on. So to question 3, you've touched on some of this already, Beth. So you want to talk a little bit more about the key requirements you wanted in a process automation tool when you went out to the market?
Yeah, obviously, again, we wanted something web-based. I mean, it's we're moving forward, and we don't want to stay back like most social services agencies. We also have some sensitive clients. We have domestic violence survivors. We have cancer patients. We wanted to make sure that we could segment those client databases away from our core program clients who are just kind of general, average, everyday folks. We really needed an attractive and intuitive user interface. Our users that currently issue vouchers, and then when I extend that to our client base, these are people all across the spectrum. They're not people who work in offices and are familiar with software every day. So we really needed something that everybody could get in there and use really quickly with a minimum of instruction. And we needed that for ourselves as well from a setup perspective. We're not programmers. I don't want to hire a programmer. I can't afford a programmer. And again, we didn't want to have to be in a situation where we would be dependent on a software company to help us move forward with every step of this program and its future. So again, we needed, as I said, autonomy to be able to add and change things as well. And things in our program change every now and then. We might add a different language to the primary language and home question. We just didn't want to have to keep going back to a company to get that kind of stuff done. Another thing was an integrated document repository. Everybody's got manuals, everybody's got documents they need to share with people. What we didn't want to have to do was have social workers have to print all that stuff out. They've been doing that for decades. They all have a 4-inch binder on their desk full of paper. We wanted to be better than that and really make this program a model for others. By having everything integrated in that system, they would always also have access to the latest document instead of wondering if they had the most current one. And so just those are some of our really, I think, important requirements, Gary. There were so many more. And from the original slides, I had a much longer list. But I dream big. Gary knows that.
Well, we did have one customer say recently that the only barrier to automation, process automation, is your own your own way of thinking, right? Your own limitations in terms of your thinking.
It's so true. It's absolutely true. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on. So do you want to tell us a bit about some of the processes that you've already automated and what your plan is beyond that?
Great. So far we've automated the client registration process, which in a social services environment is called intake. And that's where you collect all the personal information about the client, their name, birth date, et cetera. And we've done that from two sides. We've done that from the user side. So those fixed locations will still be able to issue vouchers, but also we're going to have a web app where our clients themselves will be able to apply to get a voucher. And that's a huge, huge step in social services. For the most part, folks are dependent on others to get those needs met. So we've created the workflows for our different vouchers, which again, we have 5 right now. And the crucial part about that is again, the availability of workflows and being able to really customize those to our needs, because we have 5 very different services. And what I didn't want is the usual social services thing where it's a database and you're tabbing through the fields that you don't need. That's a waste of time. I think it's demoralizing, and I wanted us to be better than that. And so that's one of the reasons workflow management is so crucial for our program and just a perfect fit for us. Other than that, invoice payment is huge for us. If I told all of you who are process automation nerds out there, just how manual our process was, that we get faxes electronically at least, and those are individually named in a certain way. And just again, just the manual nature of this process, I can't stress enough how time consuming that is, and how I just didn't want my staff to suffer like that. And so we've improved that dramatically, which is great. We also have a bunch of stuff planned, more than you see here, because like Gary said, the only end of this is your imagination. And I do think really big about this. And I just want us to make this program as strong and efficient as possible so that it works better for everybody. So among the things we're working toward right now is the actual the registration in terms of our vendors and our user agencies, for them to be able to provide their information electronically, not by an email. The number of emails that go back and forth when we want to onboard a new partner organization, it's extraordinary, and it's just such a waste of time. And again, somebody's got to do that data entry again, right? Satisfaction surveys, we've never really been good about doing those sorts of things. How do we know we're serving our customers, our users, and our vendors well if we aren't asking them how we're doing? But we've never had the ability to do that previously, and this system will allow for that. Compliance audits, HIPAA, among other things. We are HIPAA compliant, and I need to survey our users every quarter. There's no easy way to do that except SurveyMonkey right now, which is incredibly inefficient. We also do site visits to our vendors and partners just to ask them in person how things are going. We would like to put that workflow also into the system. So our person that goes out and does that can fill in the information that she learns along the way, hit submit, and then we have that record and we can report on all this information. Right now, all this is manual. And so the future for this program is so dependent on putting all of our forms into FlowForma, developing workflows so that they make sense and get us what we want. And then we'll be able to generate reports and documents exactly like we need. And it'll just really take a lot of the manual effort out of it.
It's really great to see that you plan to continue to, I suppose, enhance and improve the services you're offering. The great thing is, Beth, you know, you're at a stage, having gone through the training, where you can do all this work yourselves. Like you said, it was one of your goals. You didn't want to have any reliance on expensive third-party resources or highly in-demand IT resources, and that's one of the, that's the beauty of FlowForma. It's designed for the business user. You don't need that technical expertise or, a reliance on other third parties, which hopefully you feel you're getting there, you're almost there. And this is a lot of work you're going to be able to take on.
We absolutely are. The person who is kind of our primary internally for developing workflows and managing them is actually a social worker by training. And usually people don't have both sides of their brain like that, but she's just really gotten excited about it. She got the certification. She's planning to take the advanced training in October. So she's really kind of caught fire with it. And that's been really exciting to see as well, because again, we can do this work internally. We can, it's possible, and it's affordable. And it's just neat to see somebody in their role grow like that. I mean, she's just really excited about all the possibilities, and she's thinking about workflows as much as I am, which is great because I have other stuff to do.
I think I told you about that. She passed the foundation exam, the certification with flying colors, which
Yep,
is great.
she did.
First time round.
She's
Yeah, yeah.
super smart. And again, you certainly need to have some kind of aptitude for database thinking and flow thinking. But it's not out of the realm of possibility for anybody, really. So it's a very user-friendly, intuitive program. And I've taken the training as well. I haven't had a chance to take the certification exam yet, but I plan to hopefully by the end of the year.
So do you want to tell us about some of the benefits that you've seen through digitizing your processes then?
This is another slide that could have been 3 times longer. There are a lot of measurable things, as I say there. So obviously the streamlined, shortened user experience, it's a burden for social workers to do this work, right? They have to fill out all these applications after spending a lot of time talking to somebody about their needs. So we really wanted to really shorten that as much as possible to make that palatable and less of a dread for them every day. The phone approval I spoke of earlier, that's been completely eliminated because we can see a client's balance in the system, and so can our users. And that's a huge step for us because, again, imagine all that back and forth. We're working on obviously eliminating that fixed site visit. We're about to release that here soon. And I think one of the important things about having clients be able to apply for vouchers on their own is we're empowering them to take care of their own health. We're giving them a sense of ownership, like it says there. And then the flip side of that is the reduced workload. Social workers are busy enough. And so if clients can be empowered to access care on their own, that's one less thing for a social worker to do. Again, eliminating that email traffic that I spoke of earlier. I mean, it's just an incredible amount of messages that go back and forth to collect information that could very easily be collected in workflows. And we're just excited to make more of that a reality every day. The duplicate data entry is something that's always, I think, gnawed at me ever since I've been in the social services sector, which has been over 25 years. So I'm really proud that we're able to overcome that barrier, that burden, that tedium. And then finally, there's a lot of incalculable stuff that I'm particularly proud of as somebody who, again, has spent most of my career in or adjacent to the nonprofit sector. Improved staff and user morale. Don't discount that. I would say that's a really, really crucial part of work. I want my people to get fulfillment from their jobs. I want them to feel like I care about their days and how they're feeling about their work, and that they don't come in and roll their eyes and say they have to do the same thing over and over again. We're fixing that at our organization, and that's a rarity for social services. So I'm really proud of that. I think we've started to transform community perception about our organization. We've always been this kind of sleepy, folksy little program in Kansas City. And now that we are leveraging technology in this way, and we can do it internally on our own, that's a huge transformative effect that we can share with other people. And they're sitting up and they're taking notice of that, which is really great for us. And we're really proud of that. Finally, and Gary and I have talked about this some too, I'm really proud of the fact that nonprofits can do this. There's absolutely no reason other nonprofits, we're a staff of 9. There's no reason other nonprofits can't do this. This is very manageable. It's quick and easy to set up. The FlowForma team is always there to provide support. They have a lot of documentation. The system itself is intuitive, so you honestly don't even need the documentation that much. And we're getting to the point where we can be self-sufficient with it. And it's just really, it's just been exciting for me. And I'm proud to be, one of a handful of nonprofits that I feel is really being really aggressive about using technology to improve how we do this work and how we serve others.
I love the fact that you've called out the incalculable benefits, Beth. I think the positive impact on staff is something that's often overlooked and underappreciated. So it's great to see you calling that out.
And especially in social services, people are used to paper. They're used to a manual. They're used to filling this stuff out, and it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah. Last question from me, Beth. You'll be happy to hear. So what's next for AcruxKC and its use of FlowForma process automation?
So our big next thing, and we are going to need a little support for this, is people don't use their vouchers. A lot of times 20% of our vouchers never get redeemed, and that's thousands of dollars of care and hundreds of people who aren't getting what they need. So we want to automate some text message reminders to them, and also add a workflow where we can follow up with them to get them to use those vouchers. So there's an API available that will be able to get that work done. FlowForma has a new expanded reporting function coming out in the next couple of months. So I'm excited about that as the leader of this organization. My spreadsheets are phenomenal, but it takes a long time to get things right. And I really can't wait to use that functionality to really showcase how our program is growing and serving other people. And then finally, and this is kind of out of left field because it has nothing to do with AcruxKC, but we also have grant and scholarship programs, and I'm looking forward to adding those workflows to our system as well. We've got this software, we have the knowledge in-house to be able to build those workflows, set up those forms, and obviously then generate documents. There's absolutely no reason why we can't add those workflows to the system as well. So I'm excited about that. I really want to get as much of our work possible into FlowForma because I really believe that workflow management is so important to our ability to be efficient and be more effective. And so I think I scare my team just a little bit because I just don't stop thinking about this. But it is such an important solution for us as an organization that has been weighed down with paper for 2 decades. So I'm really optimistic about the future, and I may actually set up those scholarship and grant workflows myself, which is pretty extraordinary. You wouldn't expect an executive to kind of pop in and do that kind of stuff, but it's I should say it's that easy. That's an insult to executives everywhere. But it's a real opportunity for us to get things right and to make this work more efficient and more effective for everybody. So I'm excited.
That's brilliant. I'm really looking forward to hear more about the grant and scholarship program and how we can help you with that. Hopefully that's something we'll do in the coming weeks, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. It's hard for me to get my other work done sometimes. I'm not going to lie, because I am so excited about getting more of our workflows into that system. I'm just absolutely tired of paper and all these manual processes and all these emails that go back and forth. All this can be automated, and it's just hard not to stop thinking about it and not to keep working on it every single day. But I have, a controller to hire and all sorts of other stuff. But but the future is really looking great for us because we have access to this software, and I just want to use it to the best of our ability and push your boundaries at FlowForma and make sure that we're using all the features that we can so we get the most out of it.
Brilliant. Thank you, Beth. Elizabeth, back to you. How are we doing for time? Have we time for some Q&A?
Absolutely. We have a good 6 minutes and quite a few questions here. So the first one is, how do you provide support and guidance to clients who have problems filling out their voucher submissions?
They have to call us currently. We have a phone number. It's not really a hotline because it's not 24 hours a day, but they call us and we help them in whatever way they need. I mean, that's why having social workers on my team is so important. And sometimes we have to call the agency that issued the voucher. Sometimes we have to call the vendor to just sort of figure out what's going on. But yeah, that's how we do it. I mean, it's really it's all very, very manual. And that's where, again, having something that's more client-based and intuitive online is going to help. Because right now they're not filling out their own vouchers. That's coming in the next couple of weeks. Right now, the clients are actually still going to a fixed location. We're this close to being finished and launching that new stuff. But we will have eventually a chat function where someone will be able to help them. There's obviously a way to email us to get help. So we're trying to get ready for that change. But the system, again, it's very intuitive for them. We've reduced the number of questions on the application and made it hopefully kind of follow the bouncing ball style where it's not going to be too burdensome. But we will have someone to be able to answer questions.
Great. And then we have another question. Have you prioritized the to-do list that you mentioned?
This is a great question. It's interesting because again, we're pretty new at this, and our social worker just got trained to do it, and we've created a list of workflows, and also it's one of those situations where she's still gaining skill and confidence. So right now, it's a balance of the things that we need, right, and her abilities, and so really trying to schedule her workflow development around starting with things that are fairly straightforward and simple so she can gain confidence, but then obviously adding in things with more complexity because we need them, and but we also want her skills to grow. So that's really it. I'd say it's a balance of needs versus skills. I don't want her to ever feel like she can't do it. Not that she can't go to FlowForma for support, but I really want her to be as autonomous as she can be. And she's one of those people that as she learns and grows, she'll just be able to tackle anything. So it's really, again, a balance of our needs and her skills and her increasing confidence with it.
Fantastic. And then we have a couple questions for Gary. How long does it take to learn how to use the tool?
Good question. It really depends on where you're coming from, Elizabeth. So if you don't have any experience with other workflow automation, process automation tools, then we have a 2-day foundation training course. So most of our new customers will go through the training, and during that training, they learn to automate processes in FlowForma. And after the 2 days, they're pretty much off on their own. They're ready to go and take on use cases in their own business. Others can pick it up quite easily without the training, where they've come from, experience working with other tools. So we run training for those that are pretty new to process automation and to learn a bit navigate their way around the product. And I would say 95% of cases, they come off the 2 days training and pretty much off they go.
When you do have a question, the FlowForma team is always there to help. I mean, that's the thing, is they're not going to let you struggle. All you have to do is shoot them a quick email, or you can get on Teams with them, and they'll walk you through something and help you figure it out. And so that's I think one of the great benefits, because again, this is not something that our organization would typically undertake, or most social service agencies. So having that support there is really crucial, and has really been, I would say, an indispensable part of our experience with this software platform.
Thanks, Beth. It's also worth mentioning that we also provide a self-paced online academy for those that can't take 2 full days out to attend a virtual training course. So that's another way of doing it in your own time, from any device, anywhere, right? And maybe it takes a little bit longer, but you have access to all the materials you need, and you can go back at any point in time for a refresher too. So we've really different options to accommodate different scenarios. We also have an advanced training course for those more advanced who are looking to roll FlowForma out enterprise-wide. So not every person building flows would need to do the advanced training, but those that are going to, design, architect a solution for the entire business, then that's more aimed at those type of people. And we also have certifications at foundation and advanced level too.
Fantastic. So we have less than a minute left. Do you guys want to do another question really quickly, or do you guys want to discuss the poll results?
I'm happy if you want to share the poll results, Elizabeth.
All right. So it looks like 50%, the top one was improved productivity.
Very good.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
No, that's pretty much what we see across our customer base too. I mean, we've certainly got lots of customers with regulatory compliance requirements, but in most cases they're looking to improve productivity, which in itself obviously reduces costs, right? And improve their overall customer experience. And Beth, as you said as well, their own staff's experience, right? Make their lives and make it easier to do their job.
Yep. Don't overlook that. I think it's crucial. I don't want people to be in soul-sucking jobs that they're climbing to get out of at 4:30 every day. We need to do better, I think, as managers and leaders in this world.
Wonderful. All right, guys. So we're all out of time today. Thank you so much, everyone who submitted your questions. My guess is that if you think of any more, they can contact you guys via LinkedIn. But otherwise, guys, thank you so much for this incredible session. Any final last words before we let you guys go?
No, just for me, Beth, I really want to thank you for your time today. It's been great working with you, and I'm looking forward to working with you on adding more services and supporting your business more as you grow. And really just appreciate everything you said today.
Thanks, Gary. And I, you know, not to sound like a commercial, but I can't thank Gary and his team enough. They've been extremely patient with us. Again, we're not tech people. These are smart people. These are people who really care about your work and about you automating that work. And it's been just an absolute joy working with them. And I'm so grateful for the time and effort that they put into it. It's kind of a quirky program. It's got some strange restrictions, and they've just never said no. They've never said that can't happen. They've never, you know, given any indication that anything wasn't just, you know, going to fly through, and they'll get it done with us. And so it's really a credit to them and just their overall attitude, I think, as a company, that automation is possible for everybody, including just a small social services agency in the Midwest. And so we're super grateful for them. We love working with them. And I honestly do not think we could have found a more suitable software platform for our work, much less a company that is really best suited for us, because they're just a phenomenal group of people.